Imagine waking up 1,000 years from now and realizing Earth survived by getting rid of us. Not through war, not through aliens, not through extinction, but through sleep. Right now, the planet is collapsing in slow motion. Oceans rising, forests dying, air turning toxic, entire species disappearing before we even discover them. Every warning sign is flashing red. And yet, the strangest solution ever proposed might actually work. What if humanity simply stopped? No driving, no factories, no flights, no cities growing like scars across the planet. Just 8 billion people frozen in time while Earth heals itself. Sounds insane. But here's the weird part. People are already doing it. Right now, nearly 300 people in the United States and dozens more in Russia are cryogenically frozen. Their bodies preserved at temperatures so cold that decay almost completely stops. They're waiting for future technology to wake them up. And nobody knows if it will ever work. Scientists have already preserved living embryos. Tiny organisms have survived being frozen solid. Even the structure of the human brain can remain intact after cryopreservation. But reviving a human mind? That changes everything. Because if humanity could actually freeze itself for 1,000 years, Earth might become unrecognizable by the time we wake up. And that's when the real question appears. Would the planet even want us back? Think about it. Within decades of humans disappearing, power grids would fail. Roads would crack apart. Homes would collapse into dust. Cities would flood. Nature wouldn't just return. It would invade. Trees would burst through concrete. Subway tunnels would become underground rivers. Vines would climb skyscrapers like giant green parasites. Predators would roam empty streets where traffic once screamed nonstop. But that's not even the craziest part. Global warming wouldn't stop immediately. Even after humanity vanished, temperatures would keep rising for decades because of everything we already released into the atmosphere, meaning the damage is already locked in. And that's when things get darker. Even if humanity disappeared tomorrow, Earth would still carry our fingerprints for thousands of years. Carbon dioxide would linger in the atmosphere long after our cities collapsed. Nuclear waste would remain buried like toxic time bombs. And microplastics? Those tiny fragments would survive for millions of years. That means future humans, if they ever wake up, would still inherit the consequences of our mistakes. And this is where it gets weird. Scientists believe only a tiny number of people might stay awake during the 1,000-year sleep. A few hundred caretakers maintaining cryo facilities while the rest of humanity remains frozen. Imagine being one of them. You'd spend your entire life guarding sleeping civilizations while the world outside transforms into something ancient and wild. Every year, nature growing stronger. Every year, humanity becoming more distant. Until eventually, the planet no longer looks human at all. Forests would spread across abandoned highways. Oceans would reclaim coastlines. Entire cities would vanish beneath vegetation and rust. After 500 years, Earth's forests could become healthier than they've been in over 10,000 years. Let that sink in. The planet might thrive most when we're gone. But here's the twist nobody talks about. What if humanity wakes up and realizes Earth no longer needs civilization? Because after 1,000 years, surviving humans wouldn't wake up to governments, economies, or countries. They'd wake up inside the ruins of a forgotten species. Their own. And that changes the entire story. The mission was supposed to save humanity. But what if it accidentally proves humanity was the problem all along? Suddenly, cryosleep stops sounding like salvation. It starts sounding like judgment. And what happens next changes everything. Because rebuilding Earth wouldn't just mean reconstructing cities. It would mean deciding whether humanity deserves a second chance at all. And history suggests we don't learn easily. When humanity finally wakes up after 1,000 years, the silence would probably be the first thing they notice. No engines, no alarms, no glowing cities visible from space. Just wind, forest oceans, and the ruins of the old world buried beneath nature. The survivors would step outside into a planet that healed itself without us. And honestly, that might be terrifying. Because suddenly every skyscraper, every flooded tunnel, every collapsed bridge becomes evidence against humanity. Proof that Earth recovered only after we stopped touching it. But that's not even the strangest part. The people waking up wouldn't belong to the world anymore. Everything familiar would be gone. Languages changed. Ecosystems transformed. Entire coastlines erased. Humanity would become time travelers trapped inside its own future. And then comes the biggest question of all. Do we rebuild civilization again? Or do we finally live differently? Because if humans repeated the same habits, pollution, overconsumption, endless expansion, then the entire 1,000-year sacrifice would mean nothing. That realization could change human psychology forever. Imagine growing up knowing your ancestors literally put the species to sleep because Earth was dying. Imagine carrying the guilt of nearly destroying an entire planet. You wouldn't look at nature the same way again. And maybe that's the real reason this idea is so disturbing. Not because freezing humanity sounds impossible, but because deep down, it forces us to confront something we rarely admit. What if Earth's greatest threat has always been us? Right now, climate disasters are already accelerating. Floods, heat waves, wildfires, entire ecosystems collapsing in real time. Humanity doesn't have 1,000 years to make decisions anymore. And maybe that's the final twist. The future won't be decided by whether we can freeze ourselves. It'll be decided by whether we change before Earth decides for us. Because if the planet could speak after 1,000 years of silence, would it actually want humanity to wake up?